Alright guys, good morning everyone out there. I want to react to this video from Sunbro Nation, and looks like it's called You're Wrong About Nintendo. So it would seem like he's, defending Nintendo and calling out all the bullshit, but we'll see. We're about to watch this video real quick and see what he's going to say. Is he going to call out all the hypocrites? Is he really going to, make a really good case for Nintendo? Let's check it out. Let's see what Sunbro Nation has to say about this. And this is good because he is he's one of the few big Nintendo channels. So I'm hoping this is going to be a really good roast. Let's check it out.
This fall, heel pain and sore arms.
But of course, we gotta skip this dumbass ad real quick, so let me skip the stupid ad, and here we go.
Market and environment we are in. I believe the Nintendo Switch 2 is the best value in gaming right now, and it's not even close. And I want to explain my viewpoint on this because you might realize if you've been browsing around online recently, this is not the popular take, and I'm very well aware that many of you will disagree with me, and I welcome that disagreement, and please share your viewpoints in the comments down below, but I do ask you to actually watch through this video and let me lay out my case for why the start of this new Nintendo Switch 2 console generation isn't as bad as you think it is. And whenever you look at the price and the value of the system that we are getting for Nintendo Switch 2, that $449 price tag and or $500 with a pack-in game is starting to look like more and more of a discount as we see the price tags revealed for new handheld hardware, in addition to looking at the price adjustments to the current generation of consoles with the PS5, Series X and S, and even Nintendo's own base family of Nintendo Switch family of hardware, with the Lite, the base system, and the OLED all seeing notable price increases. I would like to also say that right out of the gate, I'm not a fan of $80 Mario Kart World, and I think that's a misstep for Nintendo, and I hope we don't see many $80 games this generation. I'm also not a fan of the $70.
Alright, so I gotta say I disagree with that. He is saying that, that's a misstep, the $80 Mario Kart World. It's not a misstep because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold 70 million. As of right now, it sold 70 million copies, alright? That shows just how, high value that game is. People value that game. People want to play that game, that series. So then they make a bigger game in Mario Kart World that's open world and everything like that. And I guarantee you, they're going to be adding a shit ton of content to that game. They're going to be adding more characters. They're probably going to make the world even bigger. They're going to add more. They might add a story mode, all kinds of crazy shit, right? So no, that's not a misstep. I mean, if something is high in demand, if something is really that popular, you don't just, you sell it for a lower price, You know that people want this game. You know that this is a high-in-demand product, so you sell it a little bit higher, all right? You got to raise the value of it. Now, if it doesn't sell well, if it sells for it start to drop, then yes, drop the price by like $10. But them putting that at $80 makes total business sense. It makes sense. And you know what? Most people are not having a problem buying that game. All right, it's only the idiots on the internet who don't even play Nintendo games to begin with who make the biggest uproar about it. Grifters on YouTube, multi-console owners, those idiots. And then he's also going to talk about the Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, and that I guess he doesn't agree with that being $70. Again, I don't really understand how when that became like a bad deal. Like, you get two awesome games. Now they're running at 4K and 120 frames per second, and suddenly, that's not good enough to be $70, and it's two games, mind you. So, anyways, let's continue.
Re-release Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, although I will say for my own personal self, Galaxy 2 is a game I haven't played in 15 years, and picking it up individually at 40 is worth it to me personally to be able to play that game on the go or in docked and in 4K. I am also not a fan of what Nintendo is doing with DLC in some cases this generation, very quickly launching a Donkey Kong DLC for $20 right after the game dropped, literally a couple months later. It seems like
I don't understand why people have an issue with this. This is the stupidest thing to me that people are complaining about this. And he says he's not a fan of this either. Why would you not be a fan of getting DLC sooner for a game? It's a great game, right? It's a great game. You probably beat it in 30 days. Why the hell would you want to wait 6 months? I've seen some idiots online like, yeah, it's understandable if it was released like 6 months later. Like, fuck you, you piece of shit. I want DLC sooner. I want them to be able to quickly add more life to the game. Not, I don't want to fucking wait another 4 or 6 months for a damn DLC. This was a great game. It was a phenomenal game. Anyone who hasn't played it yet is definitely missing out. And the DLC is just freaking awesome. The Emerald Rush is extremely fun. I really love it. I love the DK Island as well. And I'm glad we had this. I'm glad it came out much sooner. Now, this is so stupid because people are complaining about this because they think, oh, this was probably already in the game and they removed it from the game to make a DLC. Like, you fucking idiots need to shut the fuck up. First of all, without this DLC, the game is still a very big game, has a lot of content. It's a game that took me 60 hours to beat. So I don't want to hear this bullshit, oh, well, this was content they took away from the game. No, you don't know that. You don't know that. They probably had the game finished and decided, hey, let's quickly work on some, content that we could add later, some DLC, while they were polishing the game up. And then guess what? They were able to get us DLC much sooner than later. Why the hell would you want to wait 6 months for DLC? It's the dumbest fucking thing ever. Makes no sense whatsoever. So I don't know, this is kind of a stupid talking point.
Held back content that could have been there in the game. Yes, I do think Donkey Kong Bonanza is a content complete game already, but just the look of releasing DLC so quick turnaround to a launch of a game is not a good look, and we're advertising the
Not a good look because you have dumbasses on the internet crying about it. It's a stupid thing to fucking cry about. It should be a good look. This should be a good look. Look, they already have DLC, ready to launch in just 2 months after the game's released. That's fucking great. That's great. More content coming out for a game like that. We don't have to wait 4 or 6 months. This is like the stupidest argument on the internet right now. One of the dumbest. Absolutely. Saying, oh, it's not a good look because, it looks like they just removed content from a game. Like, the people saying that can eat a dick. They could seriously eat a dick. They're a bunch of fucking idiots, alright? This is very stupid. Dumbest shit ever.
Coming Pokemon DLC that you can purchase on the date. There's some misinformation online, and I actually fell victim to it myself. It's not day one DLC, it's not available day one, but it will be purchasable day one, and it's coming out later on. But still, a $30 expansion we know about for a game and was communicated to us before the game actually launched. There are some practices and some things going on at Nintendo that I'm very much not a fan of this generation. However, the case I want to lay out before you all.
Oh boy, oh, look at that. It's a Donkey Kong ad. Just skip that though.
On at Nintendo that I'm very much not a fan of this generation. However, the case I want to lay out before you all has to do with what this console hardware is doing, what kind of game experiences you can have with it for the price point you can pick it up for right now. So I want to deep dive all of this stuff. I do want to take a quick moment to also ask everyone who do enjoy the daily videos on the channel, please not only hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications on. Also, check out the hype feature because YouTube's algorithm is legit changing right now, and a lot of us established channels that have been doing this for a long time have realized recently there has been way more of a fluctuation in views than is typical, and what we are also seeing is that some of the smaller creators, smaller channels are getting this hype feature enabled, and I think it does a lot more than just put you on the hype leaderboard. You can swipe over in the comment section, something like that, and there's a way to hype the video. Please do that if you enjoy the daily uploads and enjoy the Nintendo content and want it to keep coming, because at the end of the day, while I do have a regular full-time day job, I very much want to do this full-time and give you guys more content to come, and consistent views on the channel is actually the path that will lead me there. So thank you for that. Now I want to dive into kind of some recent headlines that spawned this discussion today, in addition to just seeing some of the videos that you guys may have seen on your recommended feed, really being heavily critical of Nintendo and what they're doing this entire generation. And again, I've laid out some of the things I don't like about what they're doing, but let's just look at this broader picture on where we're at with gaming as a whole. And I also don't blame you if in the current gaming market prices are so exorbitant and crazy that you just kind of want to sit out for now and play your backlog of games you have. I actually think that's a great move in all reality, but if you are somebody who's spending your hard-earned money to still get the new stuff, I personally think when you side-by-side compare it with what's going on with other companies, Nintendo is not actually the big bad guy that social media will have you believe right now. So let's...
Alright, yeah, that's true, yeah. If you compare Nintendo with all these other dumbasses like PlayStation and Xbox, Nintendo is the only ones that are delivering great games right now. They're the only games that are worth buying, okay? You could cry about the prices all you want, but guess what? The games that Nintendo's giving you are way better. They last longer. Some stupid people will make an argument like, oh, well, Nintendo games aren't that big because they don't take up much storage size. It's like, look, dumbass, if the game actually is really fun and it lasts longer than whatever stupid-ass cinematic experience Sony has to offer, alright? It doesn't fucking matter if it doesn't take up as much storage size. If it's a much more fun game, much more fun experience, and it lasts longer, who the fuck cares about the damn storage size? And that I find that to be such a retarded argument. It's like, oh, this game's better, it takes up more storage size. How the fuck is that better? Like, that's such a stupid argument, you know? I prefer games that take up less storage size and yet somehow are much better because, you know, they don't have these insane fucking, you know, photorealistic graphics and whatnot. Now, let me just address something that he said just a moment ago. He said he doesn't blame people who just want to, you know, don't want to move into the next generation of gaming and they just want to, you know, play their backlog of video games or whatever. While I understand that solution as well, you know, here's the ultimate solution. If, you know, you think gaming is too expensive, don't fucking buy a PlayStation, don't fucking buy an Xbox, only buy Nintendo. There you go. Because guess what? I only have Nintendo. I only have Nintendo games. Yes, I have an Xbox One. I didn't buy it. Someone else bought it for me, and I played it a little bit, but I only have a Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 that I regularly game on, and I buy games for it. I buy lots of games on it, and guess what? It does not really hurt my bank account one single bit. Okay? So that's the ultimate solution. That's the final solution. If you guys think gaming is too expensive, stick with Nintendo, play only Nintendo games, and you'll be fine. Because guess what? Nintendo's the only company right now releasing great games every single month. Just about every single month, right? It's about 10 to 12 games a year. That's all you need. You don't need 50 damn games. But some people are so stupid, you know, they just want... It's like they keep trying to turn this, you know, what is a luxury into a necessity. They're trying to make games like this necessity. It's crazy how there's so many people on YouTube, fucking idiots like, you know, Real Life Fake Wizard and all these other dumbasses crying so much about, oh, Nintendo and their prices, oh, they're such an evil corporation. It's like, you fucking idiots are crying about the prices of video games more so than the prices of food, gasoline, the cost of living, you know, the prices of, you know, of homes to live in. I mean, seriously, you guys are so fucking stupid. How about complaining about shit that actually matters in this world? But yeah, that's just one point I want to address. Like, if you want to enjoy, you can enjoy your backlog with the Nintendo Switch 2. You can enjoy all the great games that came out on the regular Nintendo Switch. And you could also enjoy the biggest games that are going to come out this year and the next year. So I think that's the best solution. Only play Nintendo stuff. There you go.
First, take a look at the ROG Xbox Ally X and the ROG Xbox Ally, two handheld consoles that are launching for Microsoft. I am well aware that this is enthusiast territory for the Ally X, but let's just look at the MSRP, the launch price of this handheld piece of hardware that you can have a similar gaming experience. It doesn't come with the dock. You can get a dock. You can put this thing on a TV. You can also play it in handheld mode, and you can no doubt get better looking visuals on third-party games and first-party Microsoft exclusives through this thing, and you have access to Game Pass. It's really going to play a large library of games day one, which is awesome. But look at the price on this, $9.99.
If you have a girlfriend, stay away from this app because...
Oh boy, stupid ass ads, man. Let me skip this bullshit.
Play a large library of games day one, which is awesome. But look at the price on this, $9.99 suggested retail, and even the floor level console that is more designed for the masses, the casual consumer to pick up. We are coming in at $5.99 for this handheld piece of hardware here. And I think you really have to stop and look at what kind of performance and what kind of gaming experience you're going to have at a $5.99 price point for the Xbox ROG Ally. And no dock included. You're still going to need to purchase something like that to be able to dock it to a TV if you want to play it on a TV. You're going to have Game Pass available, but how long-term is Microsoft even going to be committed to that? That might be their long-term play. They might also find it not profitable one day, and it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate that, because I do believe some of the other recent price adjustments we've seen to Microsoft's hardware for a second time here in the US are not only tariff-related, but also Microsoft trying to fill the gap with the profitability of their hardware. If you're not familiar, Microsoft and Sony oftentimes will sell their console hardware at a loss, at least right at the start of the generation, just to make back the money on the games. But if Xbox is not seeing the kind of profitability off the games that they need to, they might need to do this additional round of price increases, like the Series S coming in now at $399 full retail for the 512 gigabyte, $449 for the Series S. Just a docked home, or not docked, but rather a home console, something you can't take portably on the go with you, $449 for the 1 terabyte model. The Series X digital now at $599, the base console of Xbox, digital only, $599. The standard Series X that does have a disk drive, $649, and our 2 terabyte special Galaxy Black Edition coming in at $799, an $800 console now. This is right next to Sony, who is seeing a lot more success with their gaming market and gaming attached to their consoles, mind you, but even them here in the US have now raised the prices of their base console hardware. The PlayStation 5 comes in now at $549.99. The digital edition comes in at $499, which was originally $400 when it launched, and the PS5 Pro $749.99. And while the PS5 Pro, you might, if you're enthusiast level, want to hop into that, there's actually a lot of games recently that have come out for it that are not utilizing the PS5 Pro's additional hardware, and you in some cases are actually seeing games run worse on the PS5 Pro than they are on the base console, which is...
All right, that's a really great point that he's bringing up right there. He's talking about the prices of the other consoles and how they've been going up and whatnot. And now he's talking about that piece of shit that's called the PlayStation 5 Pro and how it's actually running games worse than the regular PlayStation 5. It's amazing how there has not been a huge backlash about that. You know, the Nintendo Switch 2 has been, you know, making games run way better from, you know, the normal Switch games. Normal Switch games on a Switch 2 run way better than on just the regular Switch. And it's funny how the PlayStation 5 Pro, $700 for that piece of shit. It's even more now because I think prices went up. And yet that damn thing can't even, like, it's like doing a piss poor job of running video games. You would think there'd be more people would be talking about that. You think more people would be pissed off, but you know, a lot of gay station fag boys, they're not really gonna say anything. And all these other idiot grifters on YouTube, you know, they only go with popular narratives, you know. Since the popular narrative is to, you know, cry about Nintendo, they're gonna stick with doing that. But yeah, PlayStation 5 Pro, absolute piece of shit. More people should be ripping on that thing, but instead they want to rip on the Switch 2, even though the Switch 2 is actually getting the job done.
Absolutely insane, and I think there's some ways just to turn off the upscaler in the settings, and maybe then you get the base console settings, but you get the idea. Like, not even developers are bought into always optimizing their game for Sony's higher, more premium level of hardware, and the reality is that game prices everywhere and console prices everywhere are inflated to an all-time high, and again, that goes back to my point of, if you just want to sit out of gaming right now, period, I don't blame you, and I actually think that now is a great time to play the backlog of games that you have if these prices are unaffordable, as I know they are for many. And listen, if this wasn't part of my income that I was doing also, I would probably skip out on way more games than what I have this generation, because I enjoy picking them up day one and reviewing certain games with you all, and that's all part of the process for me. But if it's not something that actually is generating money for you and it's a hobby, yeah, $70, $80 games this generation, they ramp up real quick. Then you find out there's DLC packs available shortly after. There's enough of a price point where just a certain level of consumers are not going to hop into this ecosystem right now. And again, I totally get that. But now we talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 and kind of where we're at with the $449 price point. Now listen, my personal prediction is past holiday season 1 for Nintendo Switch 2, which is this year, because of Doug Bowser's comments that $449 was not factoring in any kind of higher tariff percentage, and the Vietnam tariffs have essentially doubled in the US from what they were, the 20% tariff instead of a 10% tariff. I do think that Nintendo could actually adjust this up to $500. I hope that doesn't happen just for the base console, but I do think as long as it is at the $449 price and the kind of level of hardware performance that you can get for that $449, or throw in a bundle pack-in game and go to $499 and save a little bit on the game itself.
Reasons why you should download.
Another dumb fucking ad, man.
Throw in a bundle pack-in game and go to $499 and save a little bit on the game itself. That's actually a pretty good deal, all things considered, when you look at the entirety of the gaming landscape right now. So, we recently saw footage of Resident Evil 9 Requiem running on Nintendo Switch 2, and this looks like truly a top-tier, AAA, top-level performance. There's a lot of debate and speculation online whether or not this game is running at 60 FPS. It does seem like, if you look at the footage
Alright, so far I'm a little bit disappointed with this video because it seems like he's just like talking really fast and he's just spitting out a bunch of facts, like just random facts, and he's not really hammering the point, you know what I mean? Like he's not really calling anybody out. Look, he doesn't have to call anybody out. He doesn't have to use insults and cuss words or anything like that, but I mean, he's not calling out hypocrisy. He's not calling out double standards. And, you know, he'll say a point, like, right, he'll make a factual statement, but he won't really, like, take the time to, expand on it, you know? He'll just kind of say something, he'll drop a fact, and then he'll move on quickly. He's just, like, it's like rapid-fire facts that he's just spitting out, and I don't really like that. It's like, come on, dude, you gotta, take the time to really, hone in on something, to really drive your point across. Don't just keep talking fast and spitting out facts. I hate this. I hate when YouTubers do this shit. It's like, dude, slow down and take your time and talk about something. Really take your time and just keep hammering the point. Don't just say a whole bunch of facts in just 1 minute. Right now he's talking about how good Resident Evil Requiem looks or whatever, and that's cool, but I thought this was a video, talking about how people are wrong about the Switch 2, the prices and all that. So far, he's just kind of randomly spitting out facts, and it doesn't seem like he's really roasting people here.
Closely, you can see times where it is running 60 FPS. You could also potentially see that it's just a variable refresh rate and it's not a solid locked 60. Regardless, look at the game, look at the lighting, look at the visuals. Firsthand, you can see that this is a very impressive port to Nintendo Switch 2, and it gives me more hope for the future than what we're seeing right now. And there could be actually a problem altogether, gaming industry wide, with Unreal Engine 5 and the optimization for games running good on any platform for that matter that are built on that engine. But the RE engine and what we are seeing delivered to Switch 2 so far with the initial footage in handheld mode, mind you, not even talking about dock play, when you consider that you can take your AAA games on the go and or play them at home on a 4K TV with the dock that is included in the box. Again, seeing stuff like this really helps hammer home the point for me that Nintendo's doing something pretty exciting this generation. Not to mention the fact that Nintendo Switch 2 is backwards compatible with Nintendo Switch 1 library of games day one. And while not every game is going to be truly upgraded to take advantage of the horsepower at this point in time, we have seen Nintendo do a number of different free content updates, which are just, you can play Mario Odyssey in 4K right now for paying no extra money for the game, which is awesome. If you own it already as part of your Switch 1 collection, you boot that up on the Switch 2, and it looks way better than it used to. HDR, 4K, you have additional upgrades. And Nintendo's not doing them for free in every case, which is another criticism towards them, and I actually think it's a valid one. But when they are doing DLC and you have to update the game and you pay an extra $20 for the upgrade pack, that's one thing. Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, they're included in the expansion pack, but that's a subscription service. They're $10 upgrades a piece. If not, those are ones that I feel like should have just been upgraded, but they did add in new smartphone functionality with a map system and some new voice memo stuff. Not very much things that are enticing enough for me to go back and go through them just to check out that content, but 4K, Tears of the Kingdom, and Breath of the Wild on Switch 2 is pretty awesome, and a whole other host of Switch 1 games from a first-party perspective have been updated to take advantage of the better hardware. There's been a number of different third-party games that have also seen free upgrades provided for the Switch 2. So you just look at talking about a backlog and a console that you might want to play, a large library that you accumulated during the Switch 1 generation. The Switch 2, in most cases, will not only run them all, but run them better than what they did on the Switch 1 hardware. And And that's, again, coming in at that $449 price point, which, when you look at the gaming industry as a whole, I believe, for what the hardware does, is a pretty good deal.
If you're a shy guy...
Oh, boy. These fucking ads, bro.
To message you. No pressure, though.
Fuck?
If you...
Skip the fucking ad, bitch.
Whole, I believe, for what the hardware does, is a pretty good deal. So listen, in closing, I don't blame you if you disagree with me. Maybe everything is kind of priced out for a lot of people right now, and that's a valid take to have. But when you see these different videos going up online and discussion online about Nintendo just being evil, money hungry at their core, and they don't do anything to deliver new experiences anymore, I disagree with that personally. I have very much enjoyed my time with Mario Kart World. I've very much enjoyed my time with Donkey Kong Bonanza. I've been playing Silk Song at 120 FPS on my Switch 2 with my monitor. I have a whole backlog of Switch 1 games I'm going to go through on this hardware. I'm picking up Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Day 1 when it launches in December, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, and many other games that I'm excited to learn about. And while we are missing Mario and Zelda, and those are big contributors to Nintendo's ecosystem, they will get there, and we will have those eventually, but they're not there year one, and that's why I believe some of the frustration is going on with the Switch 2 and the library of games right now. But for me, as a hardcore, lifelong Nintendo fan, I don't think that they're totally missing the boat here, and I think...
Alright, I'm gonna stop it here. He's talking about the games he's looking forward to, and he didn't even mention Kirby Air Riders, so this is a bad video. Just kidding, just kidding. I'm disappointed, though, in this video, because there was so much more he could have said that he did not say, you know? There was a whole lot more he could have said that he didn't say. He could have talked about how Nintendo's the only one dropping great games every single month. That is a fact, you know? Unlike PlayStation, which drops like 2 or 3 fucking mediocre games a year, Nintendo's dropping like 10 great games a year, you know? Like, there was so much more he could have said. He did not really do a good job of roasting these idiots online, you know? There's so many dumbasses, you know, putting out these stupid ass narratives. He could have called out the bullshit, the misinformation. He could have pointed out the lies about their stocks falling. He could have pointed out how the other companies are far more greedy. He did make some points about the consoles, the price of the ROG Ally. The ROG Ally, apparently, like, it you could dock it and whatnot, but like, you have to buy the dock separately. It doesn't come with it, and you pay $600 or $1,000 depending on which one you get. So he brought that up. He did mention the PlayStation 5 Pro and how, you know, that thing is just, you know, not performing well, even though it's supposed to be, you know, the more powerful version of the PlayStation 5. So he did bring that up. But for the most part, this was weak. I gotta say, this was weak. And earlier in this video, Sunbro Nation was talking about how he still works a regular full-time job, but, you know, he wants to be able to just make YouTube videos for a living. Now, I usually roll my eyes to something like that, but I understand people want to do that for a living. I get it. People want to, you know, that's something people are passionate about. But you know what? If you want to do that, you're going to have to do a lot better than this, Sunbro. You're going to have to do way better, because right now, this is so, like, just NPC type content. That is what's getting on my nerves with these YouTubers. It's just this fucking NPC type content where it's almost like you all have to be, you all kind of act the same when you're doing these videos. It's like you're trying to be overly professional about it and diplomatic, and instead of just, you know, freely letting loose and just roasting some idiots online, you know, calling out some names at least, and just, you know, going to town on some of these people. You're just kind of like being super lukewarm and boring about it. So that's one thing I just can't stand. It's like, you want your channel to grow, dude. I think doing that would definitely help. That's my advice to Sunbro Nation. Somebody get this message to Sunbro Nation, because I do think his content is good, I guess, in the sense that everything's set up well. You know, the way he edits the videos is really good. But when it comes to the actual delivery, like the execution, delivering the message, it's pretty damn lame. I gotta be honest. I think it's pretty lame. I thought he could have done better. You know, he has this thumbnail with Mario and, you know, angry Mario saying wrong or whatever. And so I'm thinking, okay, he's really gonna go after these people, but he really didn't. It was more like, well, in my opinion, I still think Nintendo's the best deal, and here's why. And I was like, it's like, come on, bro. Come on, man. Very weak, very disappointing. He made a few good, decent points, and that's about it. And I'm really getting sick and tired of this. It's the same with like Andre's Restart. Andre's Restart he'll be very like, he'll make a video, something like I did a response to Andre Restart's video, saying if you're a Metroid Prime 4 hater, then beware, or don't watch this video. Like he was about to rip into people, but he really didn't. It was just a very lame, lukewarm, soft ass video, and that's what this video was. It was him throwing a softball pretty much at the haters. He didn't really rip into people. He didn't really call out some bullshit. He didn't, say, okay, here's a stupid narrative that people have been that has been going around. He could have talked about the bullshit double standards when it comes to like the pricing of games, like kind of like that Sonic Racer game that came out to like it was like for the first 3 days it was like $90, and it's only to play as an additional 3 characters. You get the early access, but then you look at how many total characters they had, and it's like only 23 fucking lousy characters versus 50 characters in Mario Kart World. And yet, where was the backlash? Where was the outrage for that? There was none. I wish he would have talked about that. I wish he would have. There's so much you can talk about. There's so much you can expose, you can call out, and he didn't do it. And that really pisses me off. So, yeah, Sunbro, you need to do better. You need to do a lot better. This was weak. This was very just lukewarm. Like, you don't want to offend people. You don't want to make people angry, and you're trying to please both types of people. You're trying to please the Nintendo fans, but you're also trying to be nice and not offend all of the stupid haters out there. No, fuck that shit. Fucking call them out. All right, call them out on their bullshit. This could have been a way better video, but it was just like he's just speaking fast and he's just throwing out facts or whatever, and he doesn't really even take the time to expound upon those facts. And I hate that. That shit drives me up the wall. It's like, bro, what? Don't just say something and move on from it quickly. Somebody please get this damn video to Sunbro Nation so he could do better. If you want to do this for a living, you're gonna have to make your damn videos entertaining. Stop being an NPC. I hate NPC channels where it's like they're all being the same. They're just lukewarm. The message is very, very weak and watered down, and it's like trying not to offend people. No, you're not gonna get more views and more subscribers that way, in my opinion. And if you alienate people, good. Alienate the stupid ass Nintendo haters. They're gonna keep commenting on your videos anyways. Somebody once said that, if you want to become the president of the United States, you got to get half the country to hate you. Well, it's the same here. You want to get a big YouTube channel, you're going to have to get a lot of people to hate you. You're going to have to get the stupid ass Nintendo haters out there to hate you. All right? So yeah, this was pretty disappointing. He only made a few good points. In the beginning, he was basically like, yeah, I agree that Mario Kart World 8 shouldn't be $80, and just weak shit, and he was making some good arguments, but again, he was just being too lukewarm about it, and it was like he was just throwing softballs. So I'm just disappointed. I'm very disappointed in this video. It could have been a lot better. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. But Sunbro Nation, yeah, if you see this video, please do better. I hope you make another video soon where you actually call out double standards, where you actually take the time to go in on them and not just spit a bunch of facts really fast and just give a watered down message. That's all I got to say about this. You guys take care. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and share this video, and be sure to share this video with Sunbro. I'll see you guys later. Take care.